Our chalice is a reminder that in hard times, our ancestors in faith acted with courage to bring hope and safety, to bring life itself to threatened people. We light it today as a reminder of who we are called to be in a world still dangerous and despairing. With courage and faith, we bring ourselves to the work before us.
We are called to gather in worship. We are called to gather in worship as a beloved community. We are called to set aside distractions and anxieties that we might touch deeper springs and be renewed. We are called to seek and to share comfort for the hurts that afflict. We are called to desire more love, more justice, and life more abundant. We are called to truth, to mercy, to humility, and to courage. Let us answer the call with the yes of our lives. Come, let us worship together. Please rise as you are able and join singing our first hymn, number 40, The Morning Hangs a Signal.
The morning hangs a signal
within their glowing eyes. And other eyes beholding are kindled from that flame. And dawn becomes the morning when prophets love proclaim. The soul has lifted moments above the drift of days, when life's great meaning breaketh in sunrise on our ways. Behold the radiant token of faith above all fear. Night shall release its splendor, that morning shall appear. You may be seated. Let us now join in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Let us be quiet, without and within. Let the stillness be in us. Let the silence hold us. May we find the deep places of the soul and begin to let go of the distractions which plague us. May we let go of irritation, calm the confusion which inhibits us, let go of fear. The quiet is within us. The stillness is in us. The silence will hold us. There are deep places in the soul. Here may we find peace. Please join me in a moment of shared, silent meditation. I now invite David Temple to come up for the morning's reading.
Good morning. This is a poem written by Alex Galvin. Alex Galvin is a student at the University of Chicago School of Social Work, and she works at two organizations mentoring homeless kids and helping refugees get settled. She wrote this poem about the homeless shelter where she works. She often thinks about what the space means to different people, especially the residents and staff. It's called This Place. This place is hidden, as if to say, ignore us. Do not come here. No one needs to know. This place is an unlocked door, a sign-in sheet for volunteers, a record of those that can come and go as they please. This place is a home between homes, between jobs, between families, between schools, for some between shelters. This place is someone's 9-to-5 job, someone's dream job, someone's grad school credential, someone's good deed, someone's photo op for their company fundraiser, someone's experiential learning opportunity. This place shouldn't exist because it should be a place with many places, with individual doors, not individual beds, to provide a place that can be truly a home.
So as Karen mentioned earlier, December 3rd is National Roof Over Your Head Day in the U.S. Before this morning, how many had heard of this? You have. I learned it about 2 weeks ago, so I didn't know either. As Karen mentioned, National Roof Over Your Head Day asks us to give thanks for what we have, beginning with the roof over our heads, particularly because many other people lack this basic necessity. And I love how Karen took it a next step further, which is we want not just a roof, but a house, and not just a house, but a home. So according to the United States Interagency Council on Homelessness, modern-day homelessness in the U.S. is largely driven by housing shortages, low wages, insufficient safety nets, lack of accessibility to quality health care, and mass incarceration. More than half of Americans live paycheck to paycheck and are potentially one crisis away from being unhoused. More than half of Americans. Tens of thousands of people die every year in the U.S. due to lack of housing. People who are unhoused die at the average age of 50. The national age is 77. Homelessness impacts Black and Hispanic and Latino Americans disproportionately. According to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's 2023 Annual Homelessness Assessment Report to Congress, they do something called single night research. So they select a night. So they do this sort of, on a single night, this is what they find. So on a single night in 2023, roughly 653,100 people in the U.S. were experiencing homelessness. This is the highest number since the reporting began in 2007. 60% of them were in shelters, while 40% were unsheltered. On a single night in 2023, more than 34,700 people under the age of 25 experienced homelessness on their own. This is a 15% increase since 2022. In 2023, 35,574 veterans were experiencing homelessness. Between 2022 and 2023, the number of people experiencing homelessness increased by 12%. And 3 in 10 people experiencing homelessness did so as part of a family with children.
Good morning, I'm Louise Rachin, and just like Becca and David, I serve this congregation as a member of the Worship and Music Committee. I also have the honor and privilege of serving on the Board of Chaplains on the Way. First Parish Medfield, for years, has been a phenomenal supporter of Chaplains on the Way, and for that I am beyond grateful. According to WGBH, Boston has the second highest homeless rate in the U.S. in 2024, behind New York City. The Worcester Telegram and Gazette reports that 29,435 unhoused individuals are living in Massachusetts. And because so many cities and towns surrounding or close to Waltham, where Chaplains on the Way is, have a not in my neighborhood philosophy for housing and our advocacy programs for Massachusetts unhoused, population Waltham has become a sanctuary city of sorts. And there are many common misperceptions and generalizations about the unhoused population. They are unwilling to work, they're drug addicts, they're drunks, or all of the above. To be sure, we find, and when I say we, I say the volunteers and the staff of Chaplains on the Way, we hold a breakfast program and an interfaith spiritual program and a number of different programs during the work week at our sponsor host, First Parish in Waltham. We do find plenty of empty nip bottles in the restrooms, and I have witnessed on more than one occasions less than subtle business transactions taking place in our parking lot. However, the following are examples of how people have become homeless. These are all real-life accounts. I'm not taking poetic license. These are not fictional stories. There's Mary. She's 43 years old. And these are Mary's words. My husband had gotten hurt on the job. His mom and his brother convinced him to go to Texas. They supposedly had a job lined up for him and a place to stay. Wasn't the case, so we ended up homeless. And then there's Susie, who's 70 years old. She worked 25 years for a company. These are her words. And I was sort of forced out into retirement because the business was going downhill. My husband is 70 years old. He was driving a cab. The pandemic hit. I had to take all of my borrowed 401k money out and spent it on rent. And the next two people I know personally because they're members of the unhoused community in Waltham. There's KJ. And KJ is 30-something, and I think a few of you have met him because he has spoken with our former chaplain, Reverend Becky Shebel Hall. KJ was injured when he was a teenager. He was quite an athlete. I think it was a hockey injury. He was prescribed oxycodone with a very nice and generous refill situation. He eventually graduated to heroin. And per KJ, did some really bad stuff. And in the process, he alienated family. For well over a year, KJ was a rough sleeper, and if anybody's looking for a very interesting and eye-opening book, I believe the author is Tracy Kidder. It's called Rough Sleeping, and that gives you a sense of the reality many of our unhoused neighbors face. Anyway, he was alienated by family, and for well over a year, he was a rough sleeper, I mentioned, living in a tent in the woods. KJ is now housed, sober, and employed. He had a lot of help getting to this point, but he did the work. And then there's Joseph. Joseph is an elderly, undocumented gentleman. He's from Venezuela. We communicate with a lot of smiling and head shaking. He's been coming to the breakfast program for about 6 months. He's living in his car. And when the breakfast program is over and before he leaves, he washes down the tables and he says that it is his way of saying thank you. As members of our annual fund drive and our treasurer will attest, First Parish Medfield is not rolling in dough. However, every Sunday we literally put our money where our mouth is by splitting the offertory with nonprofits. And several of those nonprofits focus specifically, as Becca mentioned, on homelessness. Chaplains on the Way believes that no person experiencing homelessness in Waltham should should walk alone. They live their mission by building trusting relationships with those experiencing homelessness, living in deep poverty, and dealing with mental health or substance abuse challenges. They provide a ministry of spiritual caring, listening, and a sense of community and companionship. Family Promise Metro West's mission is to transform the lives of families with children that are facing homelessness by mobilizing a diverse community to provide shelter, education, and comprehensive support. They serve low and moderate income families with at least one child under the age of 18 who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. Rosie's Place is a multi-service community center that offers women emergency shelter and meals and so much more. We also support nonprofit organizations that provide goods and services that, while not primarily focused on the unhoused community, may provide some support to these folks. Dignity Matters, a Massachusetts-based nonprofit organization dedicated to addressing period poverty by providing free menstrual products, bras, underwears to women, girls, transgender men who are homeless or disadvantaged. The Medfield Food Cupboard helps any Medfield resident in need of food support, whether it is a one-time emergency or for longer stretches. They currently serve approximately 85 households comprising over 200 individuals. And Project Bread. Project Bread fights hunger by working to ensure anyone in Massachusetts can access and afford with dignity.
So in your order of service, you will see an insert listing contact information for these and other worthy organizations. And what I'll point out is, while we have formal relationships with some places and more informal relationships with others. For example, Rosie's Place, we have begun splitting our collection plate with. We don't have at the moment a formal relationship with them. Certainly would love to do that if anybody wants to get that started. But there are many organizations that we help with, and I'll just point out to you who the contact people are here at First Parish if you want to do more. As I mentioned, on the back of the order of service, Chaplains on the Way, you can see what they are looking for in terms of items you can contribute. And if you have any questions about getting involved with Chaplains on the Way, items you can donate, money you can donate, other things, Louise Rachin right here is the person you want to talk to. Surprise, surprise. If you want to help with Family Promise Metro West, which Louise talked about, which is this amazing organization, they're based in Natick. Our church has a formal relationship with them. We do volunteering with them a few times a year where we go and we can cook a meal and share the meal with the residents. It is an incredible experience. I've been doing it for years. I encourage others to join me. So anyone who would like to get involved, there's a quick orientation. It's not too bad, too time consuming. Let me know and I will put you on my list of volunteers to call. Dignity Matters, we've been collecting for them for the past several years. There's a bin right outside the U-House. So please be generous. They come and pick that up from time to time. If you have any questions about what to donate, you can ask me. From time to time, we'll have a specific drive for them, and people have been incredibly generous, so I thank you for that. And then Project Bread, which you can chat with Louise more about if you want to get involved with Project Bread and the Walk for Hunger, which has sort of changed a little over the years. And then finally, the Medfield Food Cupboard, which I loved. Just a couple weeks ago, I made an announcement saying, don't forget that we have the Medfield Food Cupboard out there, and the basket's full. I got to take it home. So thank you, everybody, for that. So Rev Dave ends our Sunday services by saying, here ends our worship. Let our service begin. I would encourage everyone in our congregation to really take those words to heart. What does it mean to let our service begin? How do we live our values as you use? Supporting these incredible organizations is a great way to do that. I now invite Mary Corthell to introduce the morning's offering.
Good morning, everyone. So this is the time in our service where we just pause to take a moment and reflect upon what does it take to grow our garden here? How do we support this amazing place that for hundreds of years have provided shelter, solace, inspiration, and change makers that have made such a difference? We are going to share our offering this morning with Family Promise Metro West, which is an amazing organization, as Becca said, and they help people who are homeless with support services, shelter, and education. So with that in mind, to the extent people are able to, please consider contributing to our offering this morning.
Please rise as you are able and join in singing our closing hymn, number 126, Come Thy Fount of Every Blessing.
Come thou fount of every blessing, tune our hearts to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy never ceasing, all for songs of loudest praise. While the hope of life's perfection fills our hearts with joy and love, teach us ever to be faithful. May we still thy goodness prove. Come thou fount of every vision, lift our eyes to what may come. See the lion and the young lamb dwell together in thy home. Hear the cries of war silent, feel our love glow like the sun. When we all serve one another, then our heaven is begun. Come thou fount of inspiration, turn our lives to higher ways. Lift our gloom and desperation, show the promise of this day. Help us find ourselves
I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do.
I will now extinguish our chalice, but may its light and warmth stay with us until we meet again. Here ends our worship. Let our service begin.